What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about an update on the new content coming to Black Ops Cold War, some things you might have missed with the launch of Season 2, and even a new Easter egg. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and be sure to check out my returning partner Manscaped, since they recently released their best package yet with the Lawnmower 4.0. You can use this trimmer to get a clean shave in those hard-to-reach places when your significant other isn't around to help. The package features the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker trimmer for your nose and ears, the Crop Preserver deodorants, and even the Crop Reviver toner. You'll also get some free gifts like the boxer briefs and a really nice luxury travel bag. Be sure to use code TWITCH20 to get 20% off all orders at manscaped.com. Now, as I mentioned before, even on the podcast, Season 2 was bound to have a bit of a weird start for most of us out there, especially if you guys care about Vanguard multiplayer. I already covered all the Vanguard multiplayer content in a previous video, since all the content was playable offline in private matches. It wasn't leaked, didn't require any hackers, it was just available in the game for a couple of days. So I covered all that in a recent video already, but I think Season 2 still had a bit of a cool start if you guys care about Warzone. We covered quite a bit on stream yesterday. I think you're all for the supports when we stuck around grinding Terra Maledicta, hunting all the Easter eggs that were possible, and then getting some dubs over in Warzone as well. But speaking of Warzone, as you guys may have already seen over in Caldera, there are quite a few cool changes that were made to the mode. And first off, the underground bunkers, which you'll see me go to at some point here throughout the gameplay, they do feature actual bots you can face off against. And I've been advocating for stuff like that ever since, I think, Season 3 Reloaded of Verdansk 84, when we finally saw AI bots you can face off against in the basement of Nakatomi Plaza. I love little features and Easter eggs like that where you can worry about facing actual enemies and even bots, right? I'm not saying to add bots throughout all of the game types for Warzone, but a little Easter egg or just one area around the map where they're at still feels pretty cool to me. And we also have the new point of interest, the Chemical Factory, and it's a pretty big area. You'll commonly find some campers chilling around towards the top on the balconies, in dark corners. There's a little vent you can go through and put claymores in there. It gets a bit weird, but hey, I'm all for new points of interest being added to the new Battle Royale experience in Call of Duty, whether it's in Warzone. I know we only got a couple during Blackout during its life cycle, and Verdansk really didn't get any either. I know Verdansk 84 brought us Nakatomi Plaza, the Vodianoi ship, but it's great to see at least one new area added every single season. That's what I would hope for. But what's weird about some of the new implementations we got with Season 2 of Warzone is the fact that one of the messages of the day do claim that a lot of these gas implementations are a part of a limited time event that will be ending in around a month's time. And I'm not sure what's going to go away in that time, whether it's the armored trucks, whether it's Nebula 5 gas rounds you could pick up, whether it's the AI bots you find in the underground bunkers, or maybe they'll get rid of the bunkers entirely after Season 2. I'm not sure why they would do that. It's kind of a waste of dev time, in my opinion, to go ahead and add in a new area and then get rid of it right away. I mean, Nakatomi Plaza was great, and at least it lasted, what, 3.5 seasons? But then it, of course, went away with Verdansk, of course, altogether when Caldera got introduced. Now, I'm definitely happy with the attention to detail that they really focused on with Season 2 of Warzone, right? Armor plates prioritizing one full plate before the damaged one. That's a huge change. Gas mask animation not interrupting you while you're aiming down sight. You'll still get the animation when you're just standing still or not aiming down sight, as I figured out the hard way on stream yesterday. And they also really improved mantling, parachuting. It's been great. And you'll also see some footage later of a redeploy balloon being used. I think that's a really cool addition to the game, because I think a big problem I had with Verdansk, and a problem I also have with Caldera, is whenever you're too far away from something, whenever you're too far away from a location that you just need to be at and there's no vehicle in sight, you just have to run a marathon, and it's running simulator. It's just not enjoyable to do that. The redeploy balloons, though, can get you to a decent distance a little bit quicker than usual, and can get you in the air, right? Not too high in the air, but still a big improvement over just walking to wherever you gotta go. Absolutely love that addition to the game. Would have been great to see this on Verdansk, but I think for Caldera it's definitely a nice touch. And also we have a confirmation from Charlie Intel that there will be an animated calling card you get for completing Rebirth Iron Trials, which is set to release in the next couple of weeks throughout March. I'm excited for that, right? Iron Trials was cool for Verdansk 84, hoping to see it just as cool for a map that I personally like the best out of all the recent Warzone maps, and that is Rebirth. Now we also have a new Easter egg, or somewhat of an Easter egg I should say, that did get fully solved as of yesterday, and it's just dealing with Morse code around Caldera. I would definitely hope to see actual quests added to Warzone again at some point soon. It's a shame that the last full quest we got in Warzone was, I believe, the Rebirth Island one when that map first came out in Season 1 of Black Ops Cold War. I really love doing those. I love making content on that. I love figuring out some of the steps live on stream and then getting a guide together at the end of the night. I always love doing that, and to me it's a big missed opportunity that with the Black Ops integration into Warzone, like we had with Verdansk 84, we didn't get a single mindfuckery type quest dealing with the numbers, dealing with some broadcasts. Would have been cool to see that, but I think the Red Door is still a nice touch to Verdansk 84. I really enjoyed those, but it wasn't really an Easter egg like we were accustomed to. So over in Caldera, some Morse code was solved, and it gives us a hint that a battleship is on the way to the island. We'll probably see that as a point of interest in Season 3, even though it's a bit repetitive that we had Hijack added to Blackout, Voronoi added to Verdansk. Another battleship may be on the way as a new location for an upcoming season of Caldera. I saw some great theories out there, which I believe to be the case. I believe these are legitimate theories that the USS Texas map from World War II won't be coming to Vanguard multiplayer, or still even can, but instead will end up being a new point of interest for Caldera, considering USS Texas as a ship back in the day actually did serve during World War II over by the Pacific. So I think it's a nice touch to kind of take a look at history, what really happened, and kind of implement that a bit with a new season of Warzone. But earlier today, Charlie Intel also acknowledged the fact that data miners did discover new content in Black Ops Cold War, such as weapons, maps, bundles, even a game mode, and they haven't provided us with an update on when that content is releasing, but I have a feeling this, since they work closely with Activision, maybe Activision told them, yeah, feel free to put out a tweet now, acknowledge the content exists, because maybe it's just around the corner from launching. I'll talk about the launch date in a second, because that gets a bit messy. However, the unlocked challenges for the upcoming DLC weapons in Cold War were discovered early and posted over on Twitter. So for the new Vargo 52 assault rifle, originally codenamed the Soviet AR, the challenge requires you to deal 1,000 AR damage, and we're assuming this challenge is just for multiplayer. We don't have the unlock challenge for zombies just yet dealing with this assault rifle. However, it's worth pointing out that a bundle does exist for this weapon already and should be coming out soon, which gets me thinking that this weapon will probably be the first one that does end up releasing. We then have the Scythe melee weapon, and the challenge requires you to get kills using Ninja or Dead Silence, of course, for multiplayer. And I think that's a fair unlock challenge, not too hard to do at all, but we don't know the exact amount of kills you'll need for this yet. However, the zombies unlock challenge for this weapon was also discovered, and this is the only zombie challenge that we know of right now. This one requires you to get 200 kills during insta-kill, and I'm assuming also with melee weapons, or if not, it's even easier. You don't have to even worry about holding a melee to actually do this one, but that's that. We then have the Fléchette SMG. We don't know the name of this weapon yet, just the code name for it, and the challenge that was discovered for it says kill detected enemies, and we're not sure how many enemies you need, how many matches you have to complete doing that, and detected enemies of course means using a UAV, a harp, or even a field mic to detect your enemies, and then that'll count towards progression of the unlock challenge. So like I said, since a bundle doesn't exist or hasn't been found yet for the Fléchette SMG, we could just assume that that won't be releasing for quite some time, but the fact that bundles exist for the Vargo 52 and the Scythe melee weapon, that gets me thinking that those will be releasing at some point just around the corner. But if you guys are like, wait, what's going on with the release of said content? Why is it so hard to figure out the release date of when this comes out? Here's the thing, right? Don't forget that Modern Warfare 2019 had a legitimate Season 7 that just didn't really release as a typical season, but the content for it still came out sporadically, but there was no marketing, no mention, no consistency, no actual formula they were really following when releasing that content. It was just completely random. Now, the same thing could happen with Cold War, but I don't think they're going to do that. I feel like they'll do at least a tiny bit of marketing with a tweet or mention in some upcoming patch notes, something along those lines, not just a silent release like we got for the MW content when that game released extra maps, weapons, some operators, bundles when Cold War was in its prime. And Cold War's schedule for releasing bundles, at least since the launch of that game, has always been Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. And I'm like, all right, well, today's Tuesday, we didn't get a new bundle, so maybe they're going to start their new schedule of bundles next week, next Tuesday, or could even start this Thursday or Sunday. I mean, it's really up in the air, but I do believe they're still going to follow that Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday schedule, which to me is great, gives us something to cover every other day, and hopefully at least once or twice a season for Vanguard, we do get a new patch in Cold War releasing even more content. We'll love to see that, but I'm already grateful for what we got so far that is currently rumored and playable by hackers. Now, like I said before, I also don't think they wanted to overlap with the launch of Season 2 in Vanguard. Treyarch's tweet does kind of hint that the recent patch in Cold War was to get us prepped for Season 2, so I'm like, okay, maybe they'll drop the new Cold War content before the start of the season, or maybe right when it does start, but neither of those happened, so I'm like, okay, maybe they'll just wait until the week after Vanguard Season 2 comes out, so that doesn't really overshadow what's going on in Vanguard. They could just, you know, give Cold War its own moments for maybe next week. That would be great to see. But you guys might have also saw that upon loading up the new Battle Pass in Black Ops Cold War, it does reference it as Season 8, and the same thing happened with Modern Warfare, right? And this is a bit weird. So Season 1 of Cold War was referenced as Season 7 of Modern Warfare, and then Season 6 of Cold War was referenced as what? Season 13, Season 14. The same thing's happening again now, where each new season of Vanguard gets marked a little bit differently in Cold War, though. So I know Season 1 of Vanguard was marked as Season 7 of Cold War, which is interesting because we went over that in a previous video where I'm like, all right, there's references to Season 7 around the game. Is that just because of Vanguard, or is there actually Season 7 content that's on the way? And the answer is actually both, because there is new content on the way, while the labeling is following Vanguard, just a bit awkward, of course. But all in all, I'm just hoping for the best with this quote-unquote Season 8 content in Cold War. We have 2 maps, we got a couple of weapons, several bundles, a new operator, and that's a lot. And I would hope that all of that does release this season. We'll talk more about the length of this season in a little bit, but I would hope all of that comes out now, and it doesn't get spread across, what, 6 months? I don't think anybody would be happy about that. Now, something I really wanted to address as well is the fact that Call of Duty did confirm that the creator program has been opened up to several new creators, and obviously when you look at the list of the new creators that have codes, it's obviously a lot of Warzone-centric channels or Warzone-centric streamers, and I get it, Warzone's a big focus for COD. I would just hope to see more love for people out there that do cover more multiplayer or more zombies. I mean, zombies has gotten shafted for the last couple of years in terms of kind of the creator program and that inside circle where they get invited to hear new information from the devs. That really hasn't happened since, I think, Season 2 of Cold War, and then before that it was Black Ops 4, of course, very little though. So I think it's a great step in the right direction that more people have codes now, but it's just still one of those things where it's not something that's necessarily fair for smaller channels, and I know I'm not that small of a channel, I definitely am in comparison to some of the other big guys, but I think to have this program and to not really have a method in which smaller channels could work towards becoming a partner, getting their code, or at least getting some type of inside access where you can get invited to those conference calls where you can hear about the next evolution of Call of Duty and Warzone and hear from the devs. I would hope that something like that becomes more accessible at some point one day. I'm not saying to copy the exact method Fortnite does it, where anybody can get a creator code as long as you have over 1,000 followers. I mean, that would be cool so that everybody could work towards something, but I would just hope that they open this up to more channels, especially the ones that do cover COD daily and do this full-time as a job. But I definitely appreciate all the support on stream and in recent videos, and people out there just saying, hey, I want to use code Dynamite, hey, I want to support you in the COD bundle shop. That really means the world to me. And to me, it's not about the money or what I would get every month. People use my code. I don't care about that. I'll donate it all to charity. I really don't mind. I just really appreciate that there are people out there that would like to do that for me. I want to support the channel in more ways than another. I mean, that means more than I can even tell you. So maybe one day I'll be able to see that. Would be a dream come true, but until then, we'll just keep grinding and hope that that program does open up to a lot more channels in the future. What I want to end off this video with is a bit of a weird inconsistency that I noticed. I think it was on stream when I noticed this. The Battle Pass timer for Season 2 does give us 3 different expiration dates across our 3 currently active Call of Duty titles. In Vanguard, it was saying 40 days, and I'm like, whoa, that's really short for a season, and that alone raises a lot of questions. I'm like, okay, if there's only 40 days left in the season, then there definitely won't be a Season 2 Reloaded, and that also means that they might want to get Season 6 out of the way. They want to get through all 6 seasons as fast as possible so they can release Modern Warfare 2 early. That's what I thought of immediately, but then Warzone was talking about 70 days, and I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. That's typically the length of every Call of Duty season, so I think that would guarantee us, you know, potential Season 2 Reloaded and maybe the normal amount of time for each season going forward. But then Cold War was talking about 120 plus days. I'm like, that's definitely not correct. We've never seen a season last that long, so I don't think that's right, but I think right now it's a bit of a coin flip, or can't even do a coin flip. There's 3 different times here that we can look at, so I'm wondering which one is correct, but right now I'm leaning more towards the Warzone timer, because if it's the Vanguard one, then that's going to definitely raise a lot of questions. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the weapon unlock challenges for the upcoming DLC in Black Ops Cold War Year 2? How are you feeling about the start of Season 2 thus far for Vanguard and Warzone? And what are your thoughts on a new Easter egg, which could be hinting at USS Texas becoming a point of interest in Caldera? I really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.